Hey Fabulous, this is Red Carpet Couture and I'm your host, Jairo. This week we bring you international designs with a dash of Africanism. Luiz Delaja in the building. Yeah, that's right. We caught up with Luiz at the Native and Vogue International Fashion Week in Port Harcourt. Luiz has got so much to tell you. Let's go listen to him.
Luiz is a name given my grandfather's name, Brazilian side, so it's something that I've had for most of my life. I've been in the industry for quite a while and in several countries. I studied fashion in Ghana, and then I ran a business here for about 2 years or 4 years, and then I left to Ghana for 12 years, and then now I'm in Cape Town 8 years. I see Cape Town as a fashion hub for Africa. They have a long history of industry. They have it's a very creative city, and I needed a space I could create without boundaries. I still feel, unfortunately, for many other African countries, you're creating with boundaries. So that's what happened with Cape Town, and then I decided to go to Cape Town, and I did business courses, I did more fashion courses. It was basically just soak up as much as I could. I'm Brazilian. Let's keep it at that. I'm Brazilian. I've had the luxury of being born into a multiracial family. One of the things that happens when that happens, everybody's raised the same way. And for a very long time, I had to struggle with myself. Where did I fit in? Where did I belong? I often questioned why. And when I went to Brazil, the answers were right there. I was seeing it glaring. I said, this is how I was raised. This is who I am. I cannot deny it. I'm not going to fight it. And it really doesn't matter where someone comes from. I started Ministry for Style, I think, 8 years ago when I moved to Cape Town. Before that, I was designing on a different name. And I refused, and I got to a point where I didn't want to use my name as a brand name. It was too personal. And I'd been playing with Ministry. There was a joke about me being the Minister of Style. So it was that silliness around it. So I came up with Ministry for Style, and that's what you see. You see M4S. And the Roman numerals is the year it was started. So that was the last rebranding I did, more to be a bit more current. And also in terms of, I was about to open the menswear store because I decided to start focusing more menswear. So I decided to rebrand, and then hence we have the new circular logo with but then there's several variations, but it's still Ministry number 4 and then Style. My design without boundaries being that I can use anything to do anything. Quite a lot of the pieces I showed, I used unconventional materials to create some of the pieces. I got quite a lot of eyebrows raised just for swimwear, which is shocking because people do swim. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of boundaries. It's what are the mindsets of people, how far can you push it? And every collection I now do, I do it with a global appeal, understanding that yes, what I showed here for the menswear was winter, 13-14 Cape Town. And if I showed that winter, I know that it's summer somewhere. And I've got many friends that are in Cape Town during winter that are off on a cruise or a holiday in Spain, and they need swimwear. So eventually it ended up being, well, we might as well, do a whole collection which evokes this whole space where you can go in, and if I'm going here, I can do this. If I'm going here, I can do this. So that's where I'm saying there are no boundaries. No boundaries also in the sense that many elements that some cultures would find a little bit feel uncomfortable with in terms of the design or as elements of the design, like skulls, for instance. In many cultures, you would not do that. In many cultures, like in the Spanish culture, they celebrate the Day of the Dead, and you have all these amazing skulls. So I'm very attracted. I love skulls, more for a different reason. But so I have all these different elements in it, and I'm not worried about what would this person think or what would these people say. And so it's a whole evolution of a whole bunch of stuff. As much as I can be Brazilian, I was raised here. I know the history of many African countries. I'm intrigued by the history of many African countries. I'm intrigued by African textile, craft. Every country I've ended up in, I've worked with local craftsmen to see how they do stuff and see how it can be elevated to something else. So Africa always intrigues me. And I'm currently working on a collection for SA Fashion Week, which plays on fetish. And fetishism, based on what fetishism is. And just looking at your face now, it's like when you're saying fetishism, it evokes a certain, I don't know what, idea from certain people. But history, basically, fetishism was a word that was created by missionaries when they came to Africa and saw Africans worshipping animate objects. So and it evolved from there to a fetish being something that you hold at a certain higher esteem and add value to, and it can be man-made or it can be in most cases inanimate. It can be animate, and it was interesting to see how all this have literally just exploded from one word from the 18th century globally, and now when I look around, I see even here in Nigeria, people, dreadlocks, tattoos, piercings, all those are considered fetishes. So it's come back full circle. So Africa would always be there, whether we like it or not. Africa would always be the root of many inspirations for many years to come. And I think it's just there, and there's so much to explore in it that I think I've just scratched the surface. I'm now playing a lot with traditional African textiles and reinterpreting them. So I'm saying this is how traditional African textiles could have been if we were on par with Western civilization and development. And I've always looked at it from that perspective. I've never seen Africa as this little continent and the rest I've seen. I'm a child of the world. I do not have any boundaries.
Woo. Don't go nowhere. Luiz is still in the building.
How many people like my outfit? That's very weak. Come on, don't hate. Do you like my outfit? Thank you. God bless you all. Now, the first designer to be coming out is the one responsible for this look. He had fantastic designs yesterday for the guys. Tonight is a totally different direction. It's for the ladies. He's very daring. He's Luiz Delaja. Make sure you enjoy yourselves. I'll see you soon.
When I moved to Cape Town, I realized the fact that many, especially West African designers, have to juggle being a creative person, be a designer, be an accountant, be a manager, human resources, and in many other countries it's all specialized. Someone is buying, someone is designing, someone is handling HR. So you have all those elements, but then here, it's not structured that way. I've had to learn. I've had to learn the hard way, which means hitting rock bottom and starting again, closing down a business and looking at the options and starting again. The fact that I am still here goes to prove that I must be doing something right. If not, I would have I don't think I would have survived this long. I would have just given up. And then you also have to decide as a designer from get-go, what are you doing this for? Am I doing this for the fame? Am I doing this to be for notoriety? Am I doing this because if I make clothes, people would respect me? Am I doing this because I come from a family of tailors and now I can go ahead and do that? In that case, if that was the case, I would have become a doctor because my dad is a medical doctor. If that was the case, I would definitely not be doing fashion. I would be doing anything else. I would be generating an income as opposed to fashion. For me, I love fashion. I love making clothes. I am intrigued by the technicalities of it. I'm intrigued by textiles and being able to take a flat piece of fabric and elevate it to something special. So the designer needs to know where he's going from that direction. I have chosen a balance between the two whereby I know creatively I would never relinquish that creative thing I have that I want to do this a certain way. I want to do it my way. I am not worried about the market. If the market likes it, doesn't like it, it's got nothing to do with me. At that point in time, it's a creative outlet. I am not going to pander to the market. And at the same time, I also have established or worked a pattern to deal with the commercial side of it, where everything I put on the runway, 70% or 80% need to translate to ready to wear. So it's a juggling act. We have to constantly look at it and say, does this make sense? And there are many times I love things and I can't make a decision, and I send out emails to very close friends of mine, people that I know that have no problem in telling me that's crap. So I'll like, okay, what do you think? And people start getting me feedback. Another advantage I have in Cape Town, I'm surrounded by creative people. We're talking about writers, performers, musicians, and people that we share, we exchange. And I'm constantly, what do you think about this? And they tell me what they want to do. And that's how we work. And I think I was missing that in Ghana at the point in time I was in Ghana. At that point in time, Nigeria had not evolved to where it was. It was interesting to see the evolution, and I think the evolution of Nigeria in that realm started from Nollywood, even though I was involved with with some entertainment and some of the musicians and designers then. Tina Ondiwe, for instance, Charlie Boy, for instance. I was just finding my way. But then it's not like you have now where you have so many, you have a lot, and I think information and internet has made it a lot smaller. So you can solve a problem a lot quicker. At that point in time, we didn't have that. So that's one of the advantages I get from being in Cape Town. I can easily, with a tap of an email, be able to stop second guessing an idea, because there are people that see it from a completely different perspective, which is great for me. And also, in that realm, when I design, I'm looking at it from my perspective and my history, my story. And when I'm asking someone that was trained in Cape Town, probably white South African, has a completely different background, he's going to give me his take. And that's the beauty about it, because then you start seeing, when you now throw it out there, you now see 5, 6 people with all different backgrounds saying the same thing. Either it's good or it's bad. When they say it's bad, nobody needs to tell me anymore, I effed up. But if they say it's good, it's impressive to see each person's take of it on it. And that is how it evolves. And then I move on to the next process. Social media, apart from Facebook, you need to look for M, number 4, and S on Facebook. And that's it. I have not gotten around to Twitter, to Instagram, and it's not that I don't know how to do it. I come from the generation of, when you say this is what I'm doing, means you're boasting, and not from the generation of this is what I'm doing means I'm giving information. So I've still found it a very big mind shift to say, look, we just did a show. I can imagine I should have done that. It's like, we're backstage, or we're tweeting, we're about to go on the show, we've done a show. And many people tend to use it in a different form. in terms of I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I really don't want to know. But it's a driver. I've done many social media courses, and it's a driver for businesses. I'm warming up into it. I think I'm a late adapter when it comes to technology. I'm a late adapter. In terms of styles and trends, I really just pick up and go with it. But then when it comes to technology, I'm a late adapter because at times I try to understand how does it fit into me. I'm also a very private person. So I haven't seen several social media spats and people literally tearing at each other. I come from a culture and upbringing of letting people have your freedom of speech, but you respect the next person. You do not disrespect the next person. And it's pretty difficult, so I'm still treading on that. So I would just say deal with Facebook, and it's M4 and S. And just Google Ministry for Style. I'm sure you would pick up stuff. But we'll soon, I'm being convinced by a few people here to get on Instagram for this. So I'm going to do that, to get on Instagram and get that going. And hopefully by the time I get back to SA, I have to do Twitter because I'm doing SA Fashion Week. And one of the things is I need to. So that's a good thing. If someone tells you need to, okay, fine, I'll get around to it. Basically, the advice when it comes for young designers and whatever is most importantly, it's very easy to say be humble. My question is, what is be humble? Someone is working hard, he's proud of what he does, of course he's going to have some level of pride. I think it's be level-headed. I was a hothead when I was younger, and it's amazing how I have really mellowed down. And there's some people that are born that way. They're already mellow right from birth. We're all different. So when people constantly pushed and said, oh, you should cool down and should be like this other, no, I'm terribly sorry, I'm a hothead, and that's what I want now. But you learn from those mistakes, and if you don't learn from those mistakes, take stock and see where you went wrong and change, then you're not doing yourself any service. You need to go through, and I think the biggest lessons you learn is you learn doing the business on your own with your money. It will be easier to do it with someone else's money, but before you get someone else's money, you're going to learn with your money and lose it and do it again and lose it. And it's not the number of times you lose it. It's the number of times you get up and say, okay, next, what do we do now? And then you keep going. And I think that's where longevity happens. You need to be able to keep going. A big break, you never know which door it's going to come out from. Am I waiting for a big break still? No, I'm living my life. I have a history. Some people keep waiting for that big, if I get onto this show, it's going to be amazing. Never works that way. Most of the people you see, or most of the brands you see today are brands that have put in the 9 to 5, bit by bit, brick by brick, and they get to the point where they are. One of my favorite designers, Jean-Paul Gaultier, I was reading an article about him recently. He started in 1975. I was a kid. I was barely even, and it's amazing. He started in 1975, and I was like, and here I am thinking that life is over. And he is still going. He's still going strong. It just goes to show you how long these things take to get on the world stage and how long it evolves. And it's just an aha moment for me. And for many people, they think it's just going to happen now. I would rather do that slow and steady than, the next big thing. Because the next big thing, there's going to be another next big thing after you. So don't focus on the next big thing. Slow and steady, quality of craft, learn and be the master of what you do, explore, expand, think out of the box, and do what you want to do. Do what your gut tells you, not what society or what even business at times dictates or demands from you.
Whoa, I guess you know all you need to know about Luiz Delaja and his ministry for style. Until I come your way again next week, this is Red Carpet Couture. Gyro signing out.